book baddies, and welcome back to my channel. I am here in the very early morning because I've been up all night reading this book, and I'm here to talk about it. And that book was voted on by you guys and also TikTok. And that book, if you haven't read the title down below, is Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this book I have heard so much about in the past year. Everybody was talking about this, especially in the dark romance community, because this is a dark romance, if you didn't know. And I really had no idea what this was about. I went in blind. I didn't even read a blurb. I knew that it was a dark romantic comedy. And I thoroughly enjoyed Lights Out by Nevessa. I can't remember her last name off the top of my head. But anyway, Lights Out was a dark romantic comedy that I was literally laughing out loud to. So I had really high expectations, especially because so many people that I follow loved this book. And I gotta tell you, I gave this a 3.5 star rating on my Goodreads. It wasn't a bad book. Obviously, I stayed up all night to finish this. Brynne is excellent at writing and keeping you intrigued. I don't feel like there was ever a lull while I was reading. With that said, it just wasn't a romantic comedy, a dark romantic comedy to me. And so if you don't know anything about this book, I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers here, but we basically have these two serial killers, Rowan and Sloane, and they kill other serial killers. They both have pretty traumatic pasts, and so they've kind of made it their life goal to help other people who can't help themselves and take out the bad guys, right? And they happen to meet one time after Sloane has made a kill and she accidentally gets locked in a cage. And Rowan happens to find her because he was actually on the hunt for this person that she had just killed, right? And instant attraction, which it's fine. Absolutely fine. And he decides to make this plan that every year they'll be sent to a new location to hunt down a new serial killer. And they'll compete against each other who can figure it out and kill that serial killer first. Is that making sense? Are you following me? And so that's what our story is. And this takes the course over a few years. And it's a romantic book. So, of course, they fall for each other. And it's dark, yes, because obviously she doesn't shy away from the violence of this. And there is a scene, I think year 3, where they're in Texas, and it was very reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw Massacre for me. I'm just saying. But here's my problem, okay? So I laughed one time during this book, and it was at the very end, and I believe it was the extended chapter of the book, or bonus chapter of the book. And because these people are supposed to be, so they have to be very cunning and smart to do what they do, to be able to track down these people and hunt them down and stay away from the FBI, right, and not get caught. The way that they talk just seems like I'm listening to teenagers talk. Like, they're just trying to be cool and say things that they think other people will think is cool, and it just doesn't come across that way. And I feel like it took away so much depth to these characters. I honestly really didn't care about them as people individually. Like, their romance was kind of cute, and passionate and dark. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't what I wanted to come out of this. There is another character, Lark, who is Sloane's best friend. And there's a part in the book where she sings part of A Whole New World and then quotes The Notebook, the line, "I think our love can do anything that we want it to," I believe was the line. And I'm a person in my real life where I do sing songs randomly during conversation or quote movies. I love both of those mediums, but it flows naturally. You know, for an example, like you turn on a light and someone's like, "Ah, the light blinded me." And then I'll bust out with "Blinded Stranded by the light, right? It fits in the context of the conversation, but this just seemed so forced, and it happened so much. And also, there were lines that were constantly repeated by these characters that ended up truly annoying me. So, Rowan, for instance, in the very beginning of the book, when he frees Sloane from this cage that she accidentally got locked in and they're about to go to breakfast and get to know each other, she comes out in a t-shirt with no bra, and he keeps saying, no bra, no bra, no bra, no bra. And it kind of circles back later on in the book, sort of, but I didn't feel like it was necessary to say it that many times. Or Rowan also says to Sloane that, well, someday you'll love me. And it was cute the first couple times, but after a while, I was like, okay, I get it. Someday she'll love you, and I know she will, because this is a romantic book. Dark romance, okay? Yes, I know it's not the giddy, like, Nicholas Sparks romance. This is dark, I understand. But regardless, romance. And also, Sloane is always saying something to him, and I can't remember what the exact line was, but there was just this repeatedness of things, and it was annoying me. But Bryn is a good writer. I didn't hate my experience with this book. There was a twist at the very end with Rowan at his restaurant. Rowan owns a restaurant, if you wanted to know. And I did not see that coming. And I feel like I should have. I read a lot of thrillers. So you would think that I would know what was going on, but I didn't. I completely spaced it. And I was like, oh my God, no way. Of course, you know, it's like almost 8 a.m. and I've just finished it, so my brain probably wasn't catching on to all the clues. But I didn't see that coming. I don't know. Even their nickname, Butcher and Blackbird, Rowan names a new restaurant he opens after them. He's the butcher because he's a cook and owns a restaurant. And Blackbird, I believe, is a song that Sloane really relates to, and so that's her nickname for her from Rowan. And I just don't understand it. I don't know. This wasn't what I wanted it to be, I guess. And maybe it's just hard because Lights Out hit it so out of the park for me. Maybe if I had read this first, I wouldn't feel the way I do. It wasn't a bad time. And I think if you like dark romances and you enjoy a little bit of kind of immature banter, this is a fine book. And I was more interested in their excursions every year and learning their, traumas from the past. That intrigued me more and kept me reading over the romance. And I feel bad saying that because everybody loved this so much, but it was just okay for me. And, I do have Leather and Lark, and I'm assuming that book is about Sloane's best friend, Lark, and Rowan's brother. I forgot his name. Is it Leland? I can't remember his name, but I think it's about his brother and Sloane's best friend, Lark. And since I already own it, I probably will read it. But I'm even more scared to get into that one because people who loved this didn't really like that one. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel. It was a fine time. I don't know if this would be a book I would pick up and reread over and over and over again, but it was fine. It was fine. And Bryn is a good writer. I don't want to bash her because it was intriguing. What she was writing kept me enthralled. It was just that I'm a character reader and I wasn't connecting with her characters, but the story behind it all was all right. And also, the smut in here, I feel like is actually pretty tame from other dark romances I've read. So if you're looking for something a little on the tame side of the smut, there's a lot of violence, but the smut's at a minimum. So give or take. Anyway, 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was all right. It was all right. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like that button, leave a comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.